Every summer in the 1970s, millions of American families loaded station wagons with no GPS, no reservations, and no idea what lay past the next exit, just a paper map and a trunk packed to bursting. It was the golden age of the family road trip, a kind of summer vacation that no longer exists. And what made it unforgettable has everything to do with what those families didn't have. Morning sun glinted off chrome as trunks overflowed, with suitcases, sleeping bags, a battered cooler, and a stack of paper maps wedged tight. The station wagon became a rolling den crowded with restless kids, a deck of cards, and a blanket for the back seat. Parents flipped through dog-eared triptychs tracing routes along highways that by 1975 stretched across the country, over 70% of the interstate network complete, linking city and countryside with asphalt ribbons. The promise of the open road was real, if only for a weekend. From the back seat, the world blurred past. Fields, billboards, the flash of other families packed for somewhere else. Games of I Spy and license plate hunts filled the hours, punctuated by calls for snacks or bathroom stops. The hum of tires and the low drone of the engine set the rhythm, a steady soundtrack for summer. But the road changed after 1973. The oil crisis doubled fuel prices, and lines at gas stations stretched for blocks. Big V8 engines gave way to smaller cars, such as Ford Escorts and Chevrolet Vegas. Families trimmed their routes, and the average miles driven per household dropped 15% between 1973 and 1975. Still, the journey itself mattered most. As dusk settled, the search for a motel became its own ritual, marking the end of another day spent chasing the horizon. Neon signs flickered to life as families coasted off the highway, headlights sweeping across rows of low-slung motels. The evening ritual began with parents scanning vacancy signs, weighing the promise of a Holiday Inn pool against the glow of a Howard Johnson's orange roof. By the mid-1970s, more than 3,000 new motels had opened across the country, many advertising family suites and playgrounds right on the property. Clerks greeted travelers with stacks of registration cards and the faint scent of chlorine drifting in from the pool. For children, the best motels meant a quick dash to the water before bedtime, the day's heat lingering in the concrete and the air heavy with laughter. Dinner often meant a booth at a chrome-rimmed diner or a counter seat under humming lights, pie cases spinning slowly beside the register. Howard Johnson's menus promised fried clams and milkshakes, but just as often, a local spot offered pancakes at midnight or burgers with a side of stories from the road. Service stations, still staffed by attendants in crisp uniforms, became gathering spots where parents traded directions or tips about the next safe stop down the highway. For black families, the end of the Green Book era meant relying on word of mouth, church bulletins, trusted friends, and small family-run inns that quietly welcomed travelers with a nod or a discreet sign. In these moments, every stop became more than a pause. It was a pocket of comfort, a small victory of arrival. Night settled in with the low splash of a pool, the hush of tired voices, and the quiet certainty that tomorrow's road would bring new discoveries. By late morning, the coast was alive with families staking out their patch of sand. The journey from car to shoreline was a procession of umbrellas, woven mats, and picnic coolers bumping against bare knees. Children raced ahead, plastic buckets in hand, eager to claim the best spot for sandcastles before the tide crept in. Atlantic beaches saw record crowds during the decade, with boardwalks from New Jersey to Virginia drawing millions each summer. Easy highway access meant even city dwellers could escape for a day. By 1975, the Department of Transportation estimated that over 15 million people visited the Jersey Shore alone. Lunches came packed in heavy coolers, their contents kept cold with blocks of ice that melted slowly under the sun. Bologna sandwiches, thermoses of lemonade, and bags of chips were shared between swims. Radios played top 40 hits, their sound mingling with the crash of waves and calls of seagulls. In Florida, the Gulf's warm shallows drew families from across the South, while on the West Coast, the Pacific breeze carried the scent of salt and sunscreen through rows of pastel cabanas. Children dug moats and built fortresses, their hands gritty and noses sunburned by noon. Parents lounged nearby, half watching, half lost in paperbacks or idle talk. Every so often, a game of catch or a race to the water's edge would break the lazy rhythm. The day stretched out, unhurried, as the sun arced overhead. By late afternoon, the sand was packed with footprints and castles, the coolers nearly empty, and the promise of the boardwalk's bright lights just beginning to stir. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the boardwalk transformed into a glowing ribbon of lights and laughter. The smell of popcorn and saltwater taffy drifted through the evening air, drawing families toward arcades and carnival games that flickered with neon promise. Children lined up for the tilt-a-whirl and the wooden roller coaster, their ticket stubs clutched tight. On the Jersey Shore, the Atlantic City boardwalk pulsed with music from jukeboxes and the steady chime of pinball machines. Teens crowded around skee-ball lanes, trading quarters for a shot at stuffed animals, while younger kids begged for one more ride on the carousel. In Florida, the opening of Walt Disney World in 1971 changed the rhythm of summer for millions. Suddenly, the idea of a family vacation stretched beyond the local beach. Theme parks became magnets, pulling travelers from across the country to Orlando's new world of fantasy. Motels along the highways filled with excited families, each hoping to catch a glimpse of Cinderella's castle or ride the monorail. The ripple effect reached boardwalks up and down the coast as vacationers began to pair a day at the beach with a detour to an amusement park or a spin on a Ferris wheel. Evenings on the boardwalk blurred the line between day and night, extending the magic of summer well after sunset. Parents strolled past souvenir shops, ice cream cones in hand, watching as their children darted from arcade to arcade. The air buzzed with the thrill of possibility, a pocket full of coins, a chance at the high score, the promise of fireworks lighting up the surf. For a few hours, the world was small, bright, and full of wonder, before families drifted back to their motels, sand still clinging to their feet, hearts full from a day that seemed to never quite end. Canvas tents unfolded in the shadow of pines, nylon rustling as families worked together to stake their claim on a patch of earth. By the mid-1970s, camping had become a rite of summer, with national parks reporting a 31% increase in overnight stays from 1970 to 1978. The first Earth Day in 1970 sparked new interest in the outdoors, and affordable gear filled the shelves of Sears and REI, from aluminum poles and foam pads to lanterns that flickered into dusk. Campgrounds echoed with the sound of mallets and laughter, parents guiding kids through the steps of pitching a tent or stringing a tarp before the evening rain. Evenings brought families close around a fire, the smell of pine smoke curling through the air. Rangers led night walks telling stories beneath the stars, their voices weaving legends of bears and distant mountains. Meals cooked over a portable stove like beans, hot dogs, and marshmallows tasted better after a day spent hiking or swimming in a cold stream. As embers faded, children drifted to sleep in sleeping bags, the quiet broken only by the call of crickets or the distant hoot of an owl. In these moments, the world felt both wild and safe, and the bonds of family deepened one simple night at a time. Summer's best moments lingered long after the trip ended, tucked away in boxes of Kodachrome slides and curling Polaroid prints. In the 1970s, nearly half of all color film sold in the United States was Kodachrome, its saturated reds and blues capturing sunburned cheeks, packed wagons, and endless stretches of highway. Evenings at home brought the ritual of the living room slideshow, parents loading the carousel, the projector's fan humming, children giggling as their own faces flickered across the wall. Each click of the remote brought back the taste of lemonade, the crunch of sand, the thrill of a first roller coaster ride. Polaroid's SX70 changed how families remembered summer. By 1976, sales had jumped more than 20%, and the thrill of watching an image appear right there in your hand made every beach picnic and mountain hike instantly unforgettable. Super 8 home movies, once a luxury, became affordable for more families. Reels of grainy footage showed kids cannonballing into motel pools or roasting marshmallows by the fire, laughter preserved in every frame. These analog souvenirs, fragile and fading, became the keepers of summer's warmth, proof that adventure and togetherness could be captured, one slide, one print, one reel at a time. Today, summer travel rarely offers that same sense of shared wonder. As technology speeds up our journeys, it is easy to miss the simple adventures that once brought families closer. The memories made on those winding roads remind us sometimes the real discovery is time spent together. Thanks for watching.